Hello, Wellness Check Wednesdays community. We wanted to take a moment to remind you that while our podcast serves as a safe space for open discussions and sharing experiences, we are not mental health experts. This podcast is a platform for you to express your thoughts, feelings, and experiences in a judgment-free zone. Our aim is to foster connection, provide support, and create a sense of community. It's crucial to acknowledge that we are not a substitute for professional mental health advice or treatment. If you or someone you know is dealing with mental health challenges, we strongly encourage seeking guidance from qualified professionals. Remember, reaching out to mental health experts can make a significant difference. If you ever feel the need, don't hesitate to connect with a licensed therapist, counselor, or healthcare professional.
This is the Wellness Check Wednesdays podcast, a share space, a judgment-free zone, a place to meet and discuss our mental health. So let's check in.
Well. Episode 56 of the Wellness Check Wednesdays podcast. We are here back at it each and every Wednesday. We want to take the time to appreciate all those that are listening and joining in, participating this mental health journey that we are on. And we encourage each and every one of y'all out there each and every Wednesday and any time that you need it to always Let's check in. You should recognize my voice by now. For those that do not, my name is Brian Livingston. I am the moderator of the Wellness Check Wednesdays podcast. I try to keep everything in line, try to keep everything on the train tracks, and I am terrible at doing so. But hey, this is a safe space for each and every one of you to come in, let it off your chest. We are here to help. With that being said, we're going to take a quick trip on this mental health journey by way of Cleveland, Ohio, one of our originators of the Wellness Check Wednesdays podcast, the one, the only, my man, Edwin Farine.
It's cold. I got a cold. Welcome to Northeast Ohio. But other than that, I'm doing pretty good. I can't complain. I have some tea. I have some tea by my side. A couple cough drops, fully medicated, and I'm feeling pretty good. So despite how I sound, I'm feeling pretty good. I'm alive and I'm happy and I can't complain.
Well, as always, good to hear. To our other originator of the Wellness Check Wednesdays podcast by way of Fayetteville, North Carolina, my man, Kevin Marshall.
Bum. No, Jane ain't doing nothing besides sitting around at the house.
Gotcha. Glad to have you as always. And we're going to travel to parts unknown in Oklahoma. My man B3, Brad, how you doing today, sir?
I'm doing all right on this Wellness Check Wednesday. Just another day. It snowed apparently overnight.
Boy.
So I mean, it's like feels like it's more ice than snow. So I went outside. I was like, nope.
All right. Well, I want to start off this episode with a little bit of humor because we're all pretty much just like, hey, this cold weather ain't for none of us, and I have found out who to blame for this cold weather. You remember earlier on the weekend, the past week, where the temperature, it was 70 degrees here, which probably equate to about 40, 50 degrees in Ohio, and Oklahoma does its own thing, but it was in the 70s, almost 80 degrees here in Fayetteville.
Wow.
And one of Kev and I's mutual friends decided to take advantage of that and brag about the warm weather and also put a post on Facebook bragging about the weather, and he decided to wear his hoochie daddy shorts. Had his knees out and everything like that. And
I know exactly who you're talking about. Damn.
And I told him, I said, God don't like ugly. You got your knees out. And next thing you know, we got 30-degree weather because you want to.
Ashy as hell too.
Dang.
I was about to ask, what's the ash factor on those knees?
I told him not to do that. He won't do it anyway. God don't like ugly. And now we're back with cold weather because he want to have it. What he want to have his hoochie daddy shorts out. And no, I'm not here for it. So shout out to my man Devin. That's my little bro. But don't do it no more. Don't do it no more. See, wait until April at least, because that was a false spring that we just encountered. But yes, our topic for today's episode, and due to the fact of the month of February, Brad, you mentioned that it is Loneliness Awareness Month. And I'd be wondering who be coming up with these names and stuff, and what, because there's a month and a day for every day of the year. But loneliness is somewhat surrounded around the Valentine's Day holiday, celebrating love and couples and all this stuff. And we briefly brushed on it last week, and we're just going to dig a little bit deeper because this week's topic is how to enjoy being by myself. I'm talking to myself as well because we see it all the time. Kev and I, especially here in Fayetteville, and I'm going to say it because we got a whole bunch of dependents around here with the military base that has now been renamed back to Fort Bragg.
With a twist.
With a twist. Man, the ridiculousness and the taxpayer dollars being spent from going from Bragg to Liberty to Bragg in a 2-year time frame just for them to switch it from the Confederate general that it was named after to a private first class in World War II. I guess they were just looking for a person named Bragg that served in the Army and sort of follow the rules. All right, cool. It's Fayetteville is something else, and it just everybody's just yay, boo, yay, whatever. All right,
sound like the Ville be villain.
It be something else. But I digress a little bit about that. But at the end of the day, you see a lot of rushed relationships, especially with the advent of online dating, where people just don't know how to be by themselves. They're uncomfortable by themselves and therefore rush into situationships. Jada Pinkett. Ugh. And
that was an entanglement. That's what that was.
In entanglements and situationships, they ain't got no business. I say we because we ain't got no business being in.
Mm-hmm.
And so, one thing that I admittedly so, and fellas, you can yay or nay it. There are times where it is a little bit lonely. You like a warm embrace from time to time. I have convinced myself over the years, especially after my divorce, that hey, I'm not rushing into nothing. I need to learn how to be comfortable within my own skin, enjoy who I am before I even try to include someone else into my life. And so that's what this topic is about. How to be comfortable by yourself, by myself. And I didn't change the words of the title just that quickly.
It's all good.
Enjoying solitude.
And then you want that solitude word in this episode so bad. Sure. What are you like? Superman, the Fortress of Solitude over there? All right, Eddie, cool.
I read the Webster Dictionary today.
Oh my Lord.
Oh Lord, here we go.
That's what I smell burning. Oh, he's trying to find he's trying to find more SAT words. Lord Jesus. Oh, we are off the rails already. Eddie, please, I'm gonna pass the mic over to you as we opine a little bit further on being by ourselves, yourself, myself, ourselves.
If you look at it, being by yourself is not really a bad thing. It gives you time to reflect, to do some self-discovery, and just like B Live mentioned, gives you some time to really enjoy you and being comfortable being you and being in your own skin. A while back, someone told me that they were engaging in a spiritual solitude. And I was like, okay. And I never understood what solitude meant, but solitude is a state of, being by yourself, but being at peace with yourself. Because as B Lab did mention earlier, some people, they just fly up into relationships just because they don't want to be by themselves. That's the worst thing that you can do. Excuse me. I wholeheartedly agree. That's the worst thing you can do. Excuse me, ladies and gentlemen, a little bit under the weather, but I digress. We shall proceed. So I was able to find an article today, courtesy of CNET. Yes, CNET is in the wellness and mental health section. 5 benefits of solitude and why you need it for your mental health. Spending time alone is good for you, and here's why. By Taylor Leamy. All right, it's a little 5-minute read, but I ain't gonna take as long. Social stigma about being alone is rampant. For many people, being alone is something they shy away from because it looks like loneliness on the surface. And no one wants to be mistaken for being lonely. But solitude and loneliness are not the same. Loneliness is marked by negative feelings that can sabotage your self worth and happiness. Solitude, on the other hand, replenishes you. Solitude is a peaceful time for self reflection and recharging. Let's dig into why solitude is good for your mental health and why you should prioritize it. So, of course, I'm gonna skim through the pieces of the article. And as I said, what is solitude? In its simplest form, solitude is spending time alone without feeling lonely. Your company is enough to fill your needs. Solitude is something you choose because you value your time and your energy. Two things you can't let people waste, all right? Think of it think of it like a state of peacefulness where you have the space to reflect, work through your things, and cultivate overall wellness. Solitude, to a certain degree, is a good thing and a necessary thing. Then it says time, excuse me, it says time, signs that you need some time alone. It has a piece of reading, gives some bullet points here. Here's one of the most common signs that you need time alone. You're getting irritated by small things you usually would brush off. Yeah. You're tired or fatigued when you don't get enough sleep. You are feeling overwhelmed and having trouble concentrating. You're regretting plans that you made that you normally would look forward to. Later on in the article, it says why spending time alone is most important. We all abide by social expectations and rules when we're around others, even if we're not consciously doing so. Giving yourself time away from it takes pressure off. Solitude allows you to be by yourself with no outside influence. The more alone time you give yourself, the more you become comfortable in your own company, as Eli mentioned earlier. It also mentions about giving you some time to recharge. Solitude offers a chance to rest and recharge without any expectations from others. It also sparks creativity. Creativity is one of those things that everyone has, but some people don't tap into it as often. Solitude is a tool you can use to access your creativity regularly. Studies suggest that being alone can help boost your creativity. Spending time alone can also hone your concentration and help you focus on tasks. Your relationships are more meaningful, it says. When you spend time alone, you are more aware of what people around you bring to the table. Gives you time to analyze and assess things. People who regularly participate in solitude know that they offer themselves introspection, relaxation, and self compassion. Your mental health increases. For all the reasons above, solitude supplements your mental health. Solitude makes you feel better because it gives you the space to just exist without the normal expectations that come with work, family, or friends. And then it has tips to maximize your solitude. It says embrace it, log off social media, pick the right way to spend your time, communicate your needs. This article was too long, didn't read, but for due to time constraints and how Zoom be acting, I kind of shortened up for you. So this article is a nice article, offered some valuable insight on of the difference between loneliness and solitude. And B Live mentioned a few points. Hey, Nothing wrong being, living, living by yourself. Because this is the first time in my 42 years of life that I've lived by myself. I've been on my own solo dolo for the past 3.5 years, and I like it. Now there are times where I have to be around people because that's when the loneliness creeps in, and I'm able to decipher the difference between loneliness and solitude. If somebody calls me, hey, let's go grab some wings, I'm there. Hey Ed, let's go to the gym, I'm there. And then sometimes I just want to lay in my nice bed by myself and watch my TV and eat these wings that are so good. But anyways, solitude gives you time to just enjoy you. Because sometimes I just like to throw on my headphones, cook dinner, and just dance. Believe it or not, just throw those old records off the shelf. Except I don't have that kind of floor to slide because if I slide from the kitchen to in the living room and hit the carpet, I'm bust my butt, and I ain't
Oh
trying
yeah,
to do
no, don't do that. Don't
that.
do that.
Yeah, just take those old records.
I knew you was
No,
going.
no,
I
no.
knew you could resist. You
It
could
was
not resist that song.
Yeah, yeah. You can't. I think about it. Being home alone, da 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 da, or whatever that movie is. Hey, man, that you think of that.
Records on the
The
shelf.
shelf. You just enjoying your company. The music turned up loud, or sometimes I know one thing. When the weather gets nice, I'm taking this black behind to the park. I'm going to be outside more often. The windows are going to be open, and I'm going to enjoy nature when the warm weather comes around. Fellas, when it comes to solitude and everything else that is entailed with solitude, um, what do you think about it? How does it affect your mental health? How does it make you feel? And what do you do whenever you feel loneliness creeping in? Be live. I'm gonna start with you first.
Well, one thing I was thinking about when you were reading that article was that this particular topic is not just for single people.
Mm-hmm.
It's very much for people that are in relationships and stuff like that as well. And I had to rethink it because I you don't have to be up each other's armpits all the time
Mm-mm.
because you need those times to sit back, reflect, and be by yourself. And for those that are insecure in your own relationships that you can't take a couple seconds, a couple minutes, allow your partner to have their alone time and stuff like that, you really need to reevaluate that because that kind of is not healthy. I can tell you that off rip. It's not healthy. You can. This is advice. This is some of the gray hair that I have on my chin that I'm offering to you. Relationships or being single, regardless, you need your alone time. You need to be able to recharge or reflect. And one thing that I need to do better about myself is just the alone time that I spend. What exactly am I doing? Am I being productive? Am I am I doing it in a positive manner? Me laying in my bed on my day off for 15 hours, I don't know if that's necessarily productive. Like I feel a little drained and drowsy, stuff like that. But like healthy habits and stuff like that, being able to do things by yourself. Me, what the first thing I need to do is get off my fat ass and exercise. And and I'm still a little nervous about that, and I don't like this weather, but it needs to happen. But one thing I've learned more than anything over the course of time is just that if you don't take time for yourself, no one else will. People will continue to grab and need and do because as much as we want this perfect world to be where everyone cares for everyone, even your most selfless people in this entire world will still look out for numero uno, push come to shove. And it has to be that way. As much as our hearts want to be for this person, that person that may be going through something and all this, that, at the end of the day, it's numero uno. And it has to be because if you don't take care of yourself, no one else will. And that applies to almost anything mental, physical, emotional, spiritual. It You got to take care of yourself, and if you don't take care of yourself, you're not able to take care or help others. I tell people that all the time. Burning the candle at both ends, trying to care for this one and that one, you're gonna burn yourself out, and then you can't help anybody. So you have to take that time to reflect. You have to take that time to recharge. You have to take that time to reassess. And think about this. I'll tell you, I'm guilty of this. There was times where I wasn't comfortable with myself, so I found myself trying to help the world and didn't take care of myself. And then when I crashed and burned, I crashed, and it was not good. It was the type of solitude that nobody wants, where you're just wallowing in your own mess and just don't know what to do. So take the time. You have to, and learn yourself. Learn what makes you tick. What and what you have to offer. Because if you don't know what you have to offer without someone else, then you're not really doing any justice for yourself. So that's sort of where I stand with the solitude, being by myself, how to enjoy being by myself. It's just I have if I'm able to focus on myself, then I can focus better on others. And
Mm-hmm.
that's always been my mantra. And yeah, yes, sir.
Brad, what say you?
Well, I was an only kid growing up, so
Uh,
solitude does not bother me. It has always been a mainstay in my life. So it's kind of one of those things that I've grown accustomed to for quite a while. And when it comes to solitude and, quote unquote loneliness. I mean, it can creep in around this time of year because you see all the people hugged up and the lovey-dovey couples, and sometimes you think, oh, well, that could be me. But of course, you have to realize, like, wait, I can't keep up with the Joneses. Like, if I'm happy being solo, I'm happy being solo. Like, and I see that quite often. People just hop into a relationship just so they have a second warm spot in the bed. It's like, come on, learn yourself, learn how to do things by yourself. I have no issue with it. I kind of enjoy it, to be honest. I'd rather depend on myself versus depend on anybody else. So yeah, that's kind of how I'm feeling about it.
Kev, where you at on this topic, sir?
Um, Solitude is another one of those double edged swords. And like B Live said, sometimes sitting in the bed, laying around the house for 10, 15 plus hours, sometimes it's not beneficial because you're so used to productivity of something of some type of progress. But sometimes you have to look inward to it because, like B Live said, most people like to burn the candle on both ends. I'm at fault for this one too. But sometimes, in a positive note, solitude could be a reset. Solitude could be just that step away for a brief moment because you're so used to being that yes guy, being that person that's there. But when you turn and look, you know, sometimes those people that are there for others, who's there for them?
Mm-hmm.
And it comes into play that solitude and isolation isn't not always necessarily a bad thing, how people make it out the scene. And like B Live and ADN, you said it, even dealing with relationships, you have to have that space apart. You have to have that time apart to understand what makes a relationship grow stronger, what makes the relationship tick by being two individuals to come into one whole. And I'm in the same boat as AD. I grew up an only child. My sister was older. My nephews, they had their mom, but it was just sometimes that there's some days, you just want to just sit and chill. Don't turn on the TV, listen to music, or watch movies, or, just do something around the house.
There are times on my days off, excuse me, like I don't leave the house. The car does not crank up at all. The car does not leave the parking spot. And that's how it is. Like until now, back in the two, technically three job groove, now I have to redevelop a routine. which also includes having downtime as well too. As you know, as you guys know, I got a lot of podcasts going on, so that's why I'm real strategic about. Okay, we do Sports Bros this day, Wellness Check Wednesday this day, Connoisseurs of Pro Wrestling this day, and Porch Perspectives this day. So I am very particular about my time, having my time off, and which gives me that alone time to think, reassess, put things together, the plan, the meal prep, and do laundry, wash my ass, okay, do that too. You know what I'm saying? So, and the thing about it is like, being in a relationship, I like together time. I like time alone too, because I just don't want to. I hate feeling smothered. I hate be like, get off of me. Yeah, it's and, like, you don't want to spend time. I'm like, honey, I need my time. I need my space. And there might be time where I might have to make that phone call. Hey, what you doing? I'm not feeling. Had a rough day at work. What you doing? Hey, come over. I got a bottle of red wine for you. Based on the true story, and just enjoy that time. So whatever, if I'm going through something, I don't feel like I'm going through it alone, because there's somebody there to, you know, let me know, hey, it's gonna be okay. It's only temporary. Now I'm about to do something funny. Now we're about to watch this. Now we're about to do that. And like a lot of times I tell my guests, I'm like, look, I said, I got a people meter. It gets charged on Monday and Tuesday. And by Thursday, it's halfway. By the time I get to Sunday, I got to recharge it again. So, sometimes you get the best of me, sometimes you don't. And it's just solitude isn't bad, and being alone isn't bad. It's just learning how to entertain yourself, keep yourself occupied. You know me, I'm a big podcast fan, and I'm a big wrestling fan. I remember I told B Live a few weeks ago, I'm like, yeah, man, I kind of had a rough Monday, man. I didn't watch Monday Night Raw at all. And B Live said, for you to do that, man, it was something rough. And it was, which means just give me time to just lay in bed and sleep, and that was some of the best sleep I got. And so,
Yeah.
yeah, embracing living alone is not that bad. You just have to find ways to keep yourself motivated, entertain yourself. I watch a lot of videos on YouTube. I got ways to keep me occupied, trust me. And also on top of that, with high school basketball season ending, there's some time. There's some free time. Oh, what can I fill it with? Oh, what can I do? So I mean, who knows? I might pick up a hobby, read an ebook. Who knows? So you'll find things to do during your solitude and living alone. You really can.
Do some puzzles, drinking tea.
One thing, and I'll tell you, fellas, one thing I've been trying to do, and it's been somewhat successful when I achieve it, is that I've been always that social butterfly.
Mm-hmm.
So on weekends, I'm always out doing something. I'm always out and about. I be in these streets.
These streets.
But I found myself like I pick particularly either Friday or Saturday where I just say, you know what? Why and for what? Why don't I just stay in? You grab a bite to eat, DoorDash some food, grab a couple of drinks, and just sit, watch some Friday Night SmackDown on Friday, or watch a movie on Saturday. But I'm just sitting at the house because I found myself constantly pouring out to other people, pouring out, social butterfly, doing this, that, because I was actually uncomfortable with being by myself. Like I thought I had to be out doing something because I couldn't be lonely.
Mm-hmm.
Like the negative connotations that are placed upon that word of being lonely, that was me. I was like, you know what? I gotta go somewhere. I gotta go somewhere. To the point where I'm like, I came out here. I done spent $50 on the tap for no good reason. Now I got a headache, and I ain't did nothing.
No,
I literally just like did nothing. I went out, drank a couple of extra shots I ain't had no business doing, and I come back home by myself anyway. Why did I leave the house?
But it comes into play, and it piggybacks off of a question that you actually posed to us last week, that there's that stigma of, like you said, that stigma of being lonely, that it tends to piggyback off of that question of, what are you running from? Why are you scared to be alone?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why can't you deal with being alone?
Yeah.
And so that's something that I encourage something, because I know for a fact, because I see the same people with, especially when I go out, I see the same people. They're escaping something. We will be at the same place. Oh, happy to see you on a Monday. See you on a Tuesday. Hey, what's going on? Oh, you here again? It's me. What's that? I'm like, wait a minute, hold on now. And I had to really, really think about that. It's like, I'm not comfortable being by myself.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not enjoying being by myself. So that's why when Brad, when you posted that about the loneliness awareness month, I had to really
Mhm.
think about that, because you don't want to tell yourself that you're lonely.
Never.
You never want to say that, because it sounds pitiful. It sounds pathetic, and then you're starting to really get into some bad thought processes. I'm like, hold on, wait a minute.
You'll be in your own head, and that's the worst place
Yeah,
you can be. Ooh, that's
and you
worse.
don't even and
Mhm.
then to the point where you don't even trust being by yourself, which is that's another level. And and then I want to make sure, as much as I can emphasize this, you ever start feeling yourself that way, seek help.
Yeah.
Please
Absolutely.
seek help, because that is a very dangerous mindset to have. And I want to be open and transparent about that, because of what we do here is, like, if whatever it takes to get out of your own head, I suggest to do so. Do I suggest bad habits? Not necessarily, but
Mm-hmm.
something to alleviate. And so that's why this topic is so important, near and dear to my heart, is because that's something I have learned how to do better than I used to be before, is enjoying being by myself and having those little things here and there, just being comfortable in the house. One thing I can tell you that applies to me: clean, clean.
Mm-hmm.
Take an extra 10, because people, I've done it. You'll get into your own head and your own mess where you don't even feel like doing, and then you make your own living quarters uncomfortable.
Ooh, that was like me last night. I came home. Oh, I'm gonna do this, this, and this, and I just looked at the stuff. And I woke up this morning. I didn't do it. guess
And
guess what? Guess what I'm doing after this recording. Everything I said I wasn't going. I didn't do last night.
yeah, I'm gonna pick up some things myself, do
Yeah.
some
Well,
rearranging.
and it comes into a play too of one thing I've learned just in like the 33 years I've been around, that it's not always bad to be a chameleon neither. Because be live, you've seen it. I'm just like you. I'm a social butterfly. I like to be out socializing. But what a lot of people don't understand is that usually how my nights start off, I start off bar hopping by myself. I start off going here by myself, or go out to get something to eat by myself. And I'm absolutely fine with it. But it comes into a sense of play that, am I comfortable? Yes. But
Mm-hmm.
can I do it? Absolutely. But at the end of it, do I always end up meeting into somebody, running into somebody? By all means.
So yeah. And what we're gonna do real quick, because I don't want to cut off at this moment. Zoom is doing what it's doing. We'll be right back after this commercial break with more of the Wellness Check Wednesdays podcast.
After these messages, we'll be right back.
Da-da-da-da-da-da.
Wow.
Kev, I want to thank you for that. That was a really, really, really big point that you made, and I mean something to definitely reflect on, as far as being comfortable, knowing your limits. Because, like I said, for bar hopping, is that the healthiest thing to do? Not
Absolutely.
necessarily, but at the same note, just knowing how to, where you can be comfortable going by yourself.
Yep.
You can run into people, talk, converse, bring it back, do this. That. I'm very comfortable. I go where I want to go. It don't matter who gonna be there. Where I be's at is where I'm gonna be at. But there's a whole lot of other things that go into the factor with that. And then there's some people like especially um, younger females and stuff like that can't necessarily do that because the world is a scary place.
Oh, it's nuts.
But
Thing.
at the end of the day, being able one thing I also want to say is that being able to be by yourself around people, that's an art form within itself. Like I'm trying to learn that more and more. Is that hey, I notice all kinds of stuff going around me and everything. But that's why I carry like Bluetooth headphones with me everywhere I go. But I pop them things in like hey, give me 5. Y'all doing the most right now. I mean, bring it back in. Meditation. Hey, that's a big word that we don't use that much on this show.
Meditate.
I feel like that is a big part of this mental health journey. Being able to meditate, just now we ain't doing all that, but
Look,
there's
all right, temptations.
there's all kinds of different ways, and that's maybe something that we'll look into in the future. It's just meditation and mental health effects with that. But I wanted to at least give Kevin, give you that opportunity to express your thoughts with that. And so, we take a commercial break. Zoom, you ain't gonna keep us down. But yeah, at this moment of time, I think
real
yeah,
quick,
go ahead.
guys.
Is there?
I just thought about my mom, and you remember how we used to go out all the time?
Oh yeah.
Mom used to be like, "We all going tonight? Y'all going to Tiki Freaky?" No, mom, we going to the
You couldn't keep us at the house in our
No.
early 20s. Golly.
and it's amazing how 20 years ago we couldn't stay in the house. 20 years later, we don't mind staying in the house. I saw something funny the other day on Facebook. Either it was the other day or today, where it says, "I used to look forward to going out, but now I look forward to going home and taking a nap." That's where we at now, and in this point of our lives, and there's no shame in it, none whatsoever.
Not one bit. It's the circle
Of life,
the
literally.
circle of life. Because we used to pick on the old folks for when we was young. Now we the old folks. All right,
Yeah.
cool.
You the old head.
yourself.
You the old head up in the club. I remember real quick. I know we got to go. I remember. I think you were in Fayetteville, and I just moved back down, and our brother to the show, JR, and I, we were both 29 years old. Me and we both had our beers in hand. We're at Broadway at the beach. We might have been at Malibu's. Looking around, I said, JR, guess what? He said, what? Looked at the floor, looked at everybody else. We them old dudes in the club now. Yeah.
Oh,
Speak
boy.
for yourself.
No, well, you gonna get there one day, but
Keep
you're
living.
young whippersnapper.
One day.
You gonna
Breath
get
smelling like Similac. Keep
Yeah.
Kev, the best advice can give you, and I can give you, and I mean it wholeheartedly. Hey man, keep living.
Yeah.
Keep living and keep learning, because
Yes.
it's just from one black man to another. Keep living and keep learning.
Yes.
That's what I give.
Yes, I will. I
One
will
day
tell
at a
you
time.
that. Yeah, one day at a time, sir. Because at some point, I have all these white hairs in my beard. I only had one or
Yeah.
two, and
Right.
I was 30. I was 30 doing. I was like, yeah, I was like 30, 31 doing nightlife photography, and me and the boys sat there. We're looking at each other. We're like, fellas, I don't think this for us anymore.
That moment he's like, oh man, I don't know, man.
Yeah, because I mean, primarily the songs they were playing. I was like, bruh, who is this rapper? Who is this?
Yeah.
I don't know who Lil so and so is. I was like, I
That
know who
little boat, little yachty, little
yeah,
boat.
I know who Lil Flip is, but I don't know who these other little people are. Like, bro, come on.
I think Lil Yachty and like 21 Savage, they've been in the game for about 10 years now. They's probably the old folks in the game
Yeah.
And they're still not good.
Talk about some little. So he listen to little pistol starter, little half pint, little quarter ounce.
Boo boo the yuck mouth.
Wow, not boo boo the yuck mouth.
Boo boo the yuck mouth, bulky man, all them boys.
Oh man.
Bakina Johnson's brother.
Amtrak, moderator, bring us back in. Bring us back in.
We can do
Be
this.
loud,
all
get us
day.
out of here, man.
Yeah, we got
man.
Man, this has been always each week that we do this has been a pleasure, and I learn something each and every week hanging out with you guys. We have some big things in store for the Wellness Check Wednesdays podcast. We're actually reaching out to more mental health professionals that will be joining us on the show. We're looking forward to that. So stay tuned. Bigger things are to come when it comes to this mental health journey. You are not in this alone. We are in this together. With that being said, learning and enjoying how to be with yourself, ourselves, myself. Episode 56 of the Wellness Check Wednesdays podcast. And we always encourage all of our listeners and everyone out here in this world when it comes to this mental health journey each and every Wednesday and each time, any day that you need it, always and forever. Let's check in. And we're out.
Bye, y'all. Time to go.
Young whippersnapper.
Breath smelling like Similac.
Similar. Oh, God.
Thank you for listening to the Wellness Check Wednesdays podcast. Please join us every week, Wednesdays on Zoom at 6 p.m., and join our Facebook group for updates and to participate. We care about your mental health, so let's check in.